All right, we are having our Friar Friday guest, and we're really excited to have him on. Jeremiah Estrada has been incredible out of the Padre bullpen. We appreciate him joining us from Denver after the meeting. How was the meeting today, Jeremiah? Good times, pizza, party, the whole thing, or what?
No pizza, no
No
party. Just a
pizza. They
lot
didn't
of.
bring. It wasn't. I thought it wasn't your day to bring the pizza to the big meeting.
No, no, just a
Yeah.
lot of kicking back. But thank y'all for having me.
Of course, of course. Tell us what happens in one of those meetings, or as much as you can. A meeting that you guys all have as a staff before a series like that.
Yeah, I was in a pitchers meeting.
Yeah.
Not much. Just much of the planning that we talked about the other team, kind of like as a team planning, and then of course throughout the game they have the individual planning that they have for us to kind of just what our what our stuff works best with each hitter or whoever we face during that one inning, or just whatever happens.
Talking to Jeremiah Estrada here, Padres relieving pitcher on 97.3 The Fan. And Jeremiah, I have to ask you about the pitch that is taking baseball by storm, and it's called the chitter, a changeup splitter. And your grip of it is going around social media right now. Chris and I looked at it earlier. It looks like it's a very difficult pitch to throw, but I just am looking for the backstory on that. How did you come to that pitch?
Well, that's funny. It's going around social media.
Oh yeah,
I've
it
seen it
is.
every now and then, but
Yeah.
no. So it was during the kind of the Cubs 2020 or 2023 year, was kind of struggling with throughout that season when the Cubs staff wanted me to learn a splitter. They had told me to get rid of my changeup that I felt helped me get drafted, and they told me to get rid of it because I was striking out more guys with the fastball sliders. So I listened, as any other minor leaguer would listen to any big league coach to just spend time in the big leagues. But once I got up there, things were going well, and then all of a sudden they were just like, "Hey, let's teach you kind of like a splitter to a forkball." And I told them, I was like, "I got a change up, but like you guys know how to stop it. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna keep throwing it, or I'll try to throw it because I want to be a big leaguer." It went nowhere. It was hurting my arm and it just was not working. And then I started kind of performing bad after that, with just kind of just like elbow information and just forearm information. And within a week, I couldn't figure it out, and they optioned me.
Oh man!
And told me to go figure it out in AAA. So as that happened, just did not work out whatsoever. Took about a month, couldn't figure it out. Things were just kind of going bad, and then we had that All-Star break, and things were just kind of just like not a light at the tunnel at that point. But when it got to that point, it was where they were trying to option me to AA, and I was like, no, I need to figure myself out. Like, I'm sorry to tell you guys no, but I gotta figure me out. Like, I've done a lot of what you guys have told me, and as an athlete, no one's gonna know anything better on how that guy's gonna feel than himself. Only you are gonna know what feels good within what you're doing. So I told them, kind of, you guys just give me a break, like let me do my thing. And then they were asking me what I wanted to do, and I told them, can you guys just send me to Arizona so I can figure myself out? And they didn't like that, and they did. And as soon as that happened, they told me, like, hey, here you go, give yourself a couple of weeks. You don't have to show up to the facility. Like, take your time. It's been a long year. We know you're struggling. I'm like, no, I'll be there tomorrow to get to work.
Yeah, there you go.
And within that time, I'd just been trying to figure out another off-speed pitch.
Yeah,
like a changeup or a splitter, and changeup didn't work. Their splitter didn't work, and then one day I was just like, let me try to stick it between the ring finger and the middle finger, kind of like a Vulcan. And then I tried the Vulcan, it didn't work. And then I kind of just like mixed in my old changeup within kind of like the splitter way, because they had showed me a grip wise on how to throw that splitter, and I was like, why don't I do this, but like kind of make it look like a circle change, but with both of my fingers on the left circled, and then the ring finger and my pinky will stay on top. If you guys know what I mean.
Yeah. We've seen the pictures.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, and I was just throwing it in my living room or in my hotel room at the time, figuring it out and throwing it up at the roof like any other baseball player does with the baseball, laying on the bed. And
wow.
I showed up to the field next day, and I was like, hey, can I try this out? And they're like, what the heck is that? How are you going to throw that? And I was like, I don't know, but we're going to see. It feels good in the hand, because at any as a pitcher, all you care about is feel. It's nothing about other than feel.
Yeah.
And I threw a bullpen with it, and I was able to locate, and the movement was good, and everything just started working. They're like, okay, let's kind of do this more, and then voila.
Jeremiah
it.
Estrada, that's an amazing story.
worked.
That's a not only amazing story, but you gave yourself great advice along the way, which is to say, hey, look, I know myself
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to figure this out. And, no one is going to tell me otherwise. And, man, it has really worked for you here in San Diego. Second year with the Padres, 119 strikeouts in 79 innings, including last year when you struck out 13 batters in a row with a major league record. And I got to tell you, the ninth inning of that game, I mean, I don't know if you think about it as much as I did, but the electricity in the ballpark that night when you came into the game last year, the fans knew that you were going for a record, and I have a feeling you kind of sensed it as well last year. Take us back.
I'm not going to lie. When that has happened, it's like, to me, like, I know that fans pay attention and all, but like, to me, I knew that to the team and to the people that I know or that know me, like, personally, knew what was an opportunity of happening.
Right.
And when I went out there, I was just like, you kind of forget that fans actually know what's going on too, but like,
yeah,
it was pretty cool. It was kind of, unfortunately, it's baseball, and as a job, as a reliever, it was so short to kind of like to embrace and to kind of just understand like what you just did or what I had just did.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
yeah,
because what, you go home, celebrate. Guess what? You go to bed, you wake up. We got to try to do it again.
that's for sure.
Next day. So there wasn't like a day where, as a starter, you get to have the rest of the day. You get to do whatever you want. You're on your own. But I got to try to do the same thing the next day and try to just put up a zero on the board. And the only celebration I had at that moment was I just went to In-N-Out with my girlfriend.
Hey, that works. In-N-Out is great.
It's a celebration.
Celebration.
I've a celebration I've used often.
So what did you order?
As usual, a double, some fries, and I always have like a dozen of those yellow peppers on the side with an Arnold Palmer.
Oh wow, okay. That's kind of like a secret menu thing. Not the Arnold Palmer, but those peppers. I haven't ever seen the peppers.
He has an In-N-Out burger, Estrada style.
Well, yeah, they always have like the yellow peppers on the side that you can kind of just eat on your own.
I need to look for
you can ask people to kind of dice them or chop them up and put them in the burger, but I'm Mexican, so I like the jalapenos whole.
Okay.
Spicy really don't faze me that much, but yeah, my girlfriend don't like it though. But usually, every bite that I take with that burger, I take a whole bite of the jalapeno.
I love that. We're talking to Jeremiah Estrada here, Padres reliever. Great to have you on the show. And last one for me, you're an inspiration to me because you've been through a lot in your career, and the word perseverance comes to me when I think about you. So tell everyone out there, when you have down days or when you were having those down days, how did you get yourself to keep getting up and keep moving forward and keep trying? Because I know that that's not easy and you've done it. And that's something that I think people like to hear about.
Yeah, man. Well, I feel like at any point, I remember seeing this saying too that stars don't shine unless they're in the dark, and at any point that you see yourself like kind of going through a bad thing, you got to find yourself in that darkness. And you got to put yourself into that times. And at some point, you'll find these little things that are kind of like a little light. And all you need is just one little spark. It's kind of like those movies that have like that little, you know what I'm saying? Like a little cave. And then all of a sudden a rock falls. And all of a sudden you see like a little light. You see the rocks, which means you're close to the surface.
A little light pokes through. Yes.
You're looking for the light.
Yeah.
Okay.
So kind of like that, during that time, it was like walks and hits and to a point where you're going to remind yourself, like, dude, I don't have what it takes anymore to be a professional baseball player. But that could come across a lot. But as for me, I kind of just like the way I grew up. So I'm very competitive and I love to compete with other people. But I think the biggest competition that I kind of admire the most and that I believe is the hardest is to compete with yourself. And that competitiveness that I have with myself was like, oh man, this ain't working. And with more explicit words that I would call myself. I would tell myself to stop being a little bit of a, you guys know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
But in a way of just that, you learn to just fight for it. And I told myself, like, okay, you know what? Like, you could be scared that whatever you do, that you feel like it's going to be helpful for you, can make other people upset. But at the end of the day, everyone wants to do what makes themselves happy. And if it makes yourself happy, but yet alone, it's going to have to make some other people mad, you're going to have to take that sacrifice because if you know it's going to help you out. And when you take that sacrifice and, hey, look, it got me DFA'd.
Okay.
And next thing you know, Padres picked me up and dreams come true.
I love
Words of wisdom.
I got chills, honestly.
Very good words of wisdom from Jeremiah Estrada. We appreciate you dropping all that stuff on us, Jeremiah. I think it's inspirational, not only to you, Matt, but to everybody listening. For those who don't know, Jeremiah is an Aztec for life. Not San Diego State, but Palm Desert, the Aztecs. He's an Aztec. So, hey, we love watching you, Jeremiah. Continued great success. Thanks for joining us, sir.
Thank you guys for having me. I absolutely appreciate it, and let's continue going.
Keep it going.
Absolutely.
Indeed, for sure. Jeremiah Estrada doing a great job there from Denver, and he's our Friar Friday interview today.